No, you're still gonna bring me up.
Yay. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Waiting for you guys to jump right on in here. It's 4 p.m., our usual financial planning live. So I'm waiting for my usual guests to arrive. And I also have a special colleague of mine, a special guest. I want to welcome those who are on VPN. Seen persons coming on already. Welcome, welcome. Remember to like and share, guys. You're going to hashtag live once you've joined the live. And if you're going to be watching the replay, of course, hashtag once you have watched replay. We're going to be downloading some information today that are going to be vital to and essential to the planning of creating some wealth and stability in your family. So, of course, I'm excited to bring on a colleague of mine. We're going to be just chatting up a little bit until persons have joined. We don't want you to miss this presentation. So I'm going to be inviting, of course, Mr. Mark Blake, who holds 2 professional licenses, both as a professional commercial pilot and a certified financial advisor. He has a BS in finance and has worked in the financial services industry for well over 10 years with a portfolio of over 500 plus clients. He has devoted his life to helping families realize their financial independence through both income protection and income creation. Mark, welcome, boss. I don't see anybody else qualified for this session today. And while the guests or my viewers are coming on, look, we just chat up a bit, in terms of what is happening currently in our financial market. As financial advisor, I have never seen this before. I remember when I was about 11 or 10 years old, we had Hurricane Gilbert, and we lost just the limb of a pear tree, but you had neighbors and neighboring communities who lost roofs, lost homes, lost personal items. There were a lot of looting and theft going on, but I've never seen the economy taken such a hit. And this is not just Jamaica now, this is worldwide. What are your thoughts? And based on your wealth of experience and years in the financial sector, talk to me. How are we looking?
So first and foremost, I want to say thank you, of course, Shernette, for inviting me on your program this afternoon. It's absolutely fantastic to have a colleague like you who, like my own heart, decides to share information with the wider audience about financial literacy, is what I like to call it. And
Yes.
I know that you have been doing a lot on your own. And I just want to commend you for what you have been doing to help people realize financial independence. And so just to answer that question real quick, I remember Hurricane Gilbert too. I can't recall how old I was, but I was old enough to remember that, I was standing on the outside patio in the eye when it was at its calmest.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember my mom saying, do not go outside, do not go outside. And I went outside on the balcony, and I used to live in Vineyard Town at the time. And I went out on the balcony, on the patio outside, on the veranda is what we call it. And there was a grill, and I was standing in front of the grill, and I remember a cement block flew and hit right in front of my face.
Wow.
On the grill, and then fell. And to this day, it never left me, because I remember that even in the eye of the storm, right when the storm picked back up, the grill was there to protect me from that cement block. And so when you just said that, it really made a connection for me, because had the grill not been there, I would have gotten hit from that cement block. And so in this situation right now, where we are in yet another crisis, a pandemic, if you might call it that.
Right.
If if we're not protected, like the grill protected me, we could possibly get hit with that cement block. But only it won't be a cement block. It will be unemployment. It will be loss of income in whatever other fashion, maybe a cut in hours. It could be your spouse deciding that enough is enough because of all the stress. They're gonna call it quits, and you just lost another stream of income that was coming to the family. It could be so many challenges and situations that can occur in this crisis that if you're not prepared, if you're not protected, like that grill protected me, you might be in some serious problems. So, having said that, one of the reasons that I am here today is to show you how you can actually get protected, is to show you how you can put certain things in place so that in times of crisis or out of crisis, you're actually protected financially.
Awesome. I want to welcome those who are viewing today and just to remind you to like and share. Share this live on your page, guys. You don't want to miss the information that is going to be shared today. I also want to let you know that we are streaming live also on YouTube. So for those of your family members who may not be on my Facebook page and you'd like to share with them, the link is in the comment section. So go ahead and copy that link and paste it to your family and your friends. Invite as much persons as possible. They'll appreciate this information that you're going to share with them, guys. So of course, my guest is Mark Blake. As for those of you who missed the introduction, you can go ahead and read his credential on my page. And of course, for those of you who are going to be interested in the information that is going to be given to you, I want you to go ahead and put in the comment section that need info or 111 interested, need info now, guys. Blow up the page. I brought him on here for you, of course, to enlighten me and for me to have the information so we can better serve you. And again, the lives here on a Sunday is not because I don't have anything to do, but because I realize that the information is important for persons to make a decision. And we're going to be going in depth in the decision making, in which a couple of lives I have been talking about budgeting and also to see what is it that you're earning and what is it that you're spending. Place it on that spreadsheet or in that book where you can actually see it, because without vision we perish, right? And of course, Mark is here with an awesome spreadsheet, better than Femi one, that I thought had included everything. And for those of you who are in Jamaica, it includes the taxes that are in Jamaica. For those who are overseas, we can tailor it to fit your needs. So guys, it is here. What else can we do? We are here for you. You have to reach out to us. And of course, for those of you who are probably a little private about your decision, the emails will be placed in the comment section for you to contact us directly. So, Mark, take it away.
All right, so thank you again, Shernette. When you contacted me, it was because you would have seen, some of this presentation on another webinar of ours, and we just wanted to highlight the webinar that you were on was speaking about generational wealth. See, far too often we tend to leave what is called dead left.
Yes.
We don't want to do this dead left anymore. We want to leave it dead right.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Because we are not taught certain key principles about wealth building. We're not taught certain key principles about generational wealth building. All right. And so the webinar that you were on was addressing that. And I invite each and every person, after to connect. I might share that video with you because that too was recorded, because it's very powerful that we understand not just how to accumulate wealth, but we also understand how to distribute wealth for generations to come.
Right.
All right. But how do we get that wealth, right? We have to create that wealth. So a lot of the things that we're going to be talking about today is just how to do that. See, Shernette, I believe your wealth does not far surpass your personal growth and development.
Wow.
It means that God will only bless you with a little. Then you have to learn to manage it. And then you'll be blessed with a lot.
In which he speaks about good stewardship.
Good stewardship. How can you manage? How can you be a good steward of a little, not knowing where it's going, and then expect to have more?
Wow. So you're trying to say that I have to be able to manage, what is it? The little that I'm earning now before I am blessed with much.
Correct. You have to manage the little that you have now. See, how many times you and I have been in this situation? How many times, and if guys, if you see me looking all over the place, I have about 4 different screens plus the miniature screen, all right? So if how many times have you actually spoken to someone and they said, "Oh, I don't have the money to do that. Oh, I don't
Right.
have the money to do this. I don't have the money to do that." It makes me ask them, do you make money? Because I'm sure you have to eat, right? So where did you get money to eat? I'm sure you have to pay your bills. Where did you get money to pay your bills? I'm sure you have to put gas in the car. Where do you get money to put gas in the car? Some might even say, I don't have the money to do those things. Well, then the question I would ask them is, what are you doing with your time? What are you doing with the gifts God has given you? What are you doing with the skills that you have developed and the things that you do in your life? What are you doing with them? Because if you're not doing anything with them, we need to talk so I can
Right.
show you how you monetize your skills. All right, that's a totally different conversation. All right, but there has to be some type of a paradigm shift that has to be taken place when it comes on to thinking about wealth and thinking about personal growth and development. See, if we continue to feed ourselves the things about lack, then that's what we will get. Lack. If we feed our minds with abundance, then that's what we're going to get. Abundance. So if we continue to say, hey, Mark, I don't have the money to do that. I learned from Robert Kiyosaki. He's one of my greatest mentors. Don't know him personally, but you don't have to know somebody for them to mentor you. They have books you can read, right? And as a financial guru or real estate guru, he taught me that, in his famous series, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he said his poor dad would say, oh, I can't afford that. But his rich dad would say, how can I afford that?
How?
How can I afford that? So it's just a shift in the thinking. You just have to have a paradigm shift to understand that the wealth and money and opportunities are here for us all. But how many of us are speaking it into our lives? How many of us are actually, speaking those things every day? I'm so happy and grateful now that I have life more abundantly. So I am blessed to serve so many of my clients.
Awesome.
And
Awesome.
when I do that, so many clients just seem to appear. Why? Because I'm already grateful for the ones who I have. I'm a servant leader, making sure that they are being served, right? So there has to be a paradigm shift. And I can tell you this, guys, I don't want this to be a preaching session, but I have the opportunity to share some things. I have a limited amount of time, but there are so many things I want to impart on all of your guests today. One, if it is that you are an employee and you're exchanging time for money, I can say this. We were all taught that time is money.
Right.
But is it really?
Is it?
Time is a resource that we don't have, one, control over. Two, it's not infinite. It really isn't.
Can I get
it finishes. It finishes. You can't get it back. It is one of the most valuable resources we have. Once this minute is gone, it's gone. So then if that's the case, and we're saying time is equal to money, then you're telling me that my money can be gone? No, it cannot. Because money has been here before you, it will be here after you, right? It is a renewable resource. You work for this time period and you get money for that time period. It's renewable, right? But here is the problem. If we only have 24 hours in the day and we are making money based on time and 24 hours runs out, then your ability to create income is what? Gone. It will run out.
Right,
so the question I want to pose to each and everybody is, what else are you doing with your time besides working your job that's going to be providing you money for that specific time? Because you can't have more time. So you know what we end up doing, Shernette? Here's what we do. We go back to school. We level up our education, level up our skills so that we can get paid more money in the same time. But guess
Wow.
what? We
That is
still
profound.
only we still only have a fixed amount of time. So you still have a ceiling. You could be a doctor, a lawyer, a pilot, an accountant, a financial advisor. You could be an Indian chief. It doesn't matter. We all only have 24 hours. So we're all capped off there if you're exchanging time for money. So as an employee, which is where 60% of us are actually in the economy of things, we all exchange time for money. We don't use leverage. And some people might say, hey, I'm self-employed. I work for myself. That's great. But guess what? You are still exchanging your time for money because
Yes.
you're not there to provide that product or that service. Guess what? Again, you don't get paid. And so you want to put in more time. And then guess what? You don't have enough time for your family. You don't have enough time for your friends. You don't have enough time for yourself. See, I've been there. I didn't have enough time for myself, which is why in 2016, based on not paying attention to my health, I suffered a major heart attack. I
Wow.
got hit in a situation where I had to stop and say, Mark, you cannot continue to go this hard. You cannot continue to exchange so much time in the efforts to get money because your health is your wealth.
Hmm.
And this is not just physical, it's also psychological. Are you stressed out on your job? What do you think about all day long? If it's your job, that's bad.
Right.
If you go to bed thinking about your job, but you wake up wanting to go to your job and that's it, that's not so good. Because at the end of the day, that which you think about the most is what will show up in your life. As a man thinketh, so is
So
he.
you see.
So if you're thinking about your job and you're stressed out about your job, what are you going to get? More stress. So I'm saying become either shift over into the 5%ers. This is what Robert Kiyosaki talks about a lot.
Which
Shift
side are you on?
shift over to the right side of money where you're now either a business owner utilizing a system. And guys, if you're not already taking notes, I suggest grab a pen or a pencil, a notepad, because note takers are wealth creators. All right, the person with the dullest pencil is better than the person with the sharpest mind.
Yes.
Start writing things.
Yes. 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 That's so
Start,
true.
start writing things down. All right,
This
and I'm going
the
to share with you right now a system. System stands for save yourself time, energy, and money. Utilize a system. Create a business model or structure where you can walk away from it, but it continues to produce for you. Create a system where you can go to sleep at night and you wake up and you're making money for yourself. Profits. Jim Rohn, another mentor of mine, would say, wages will make you a living, but profits will create for you a fortune. So become profitable, guys, in any different way that you can. And we're going to also talk about becoming an investor. We're going to switch from being a business owner to an investor. This is where literally don't work for money, but instead, money actually works for you. All right? So that's the key thing I want each and every person to take away from our talk today is how to become an investor, where you can invest not just in money, guys, but you invest in your own personal growth and development. See, I've found a model for success, and I'm going to tell it to you right now. The key to success is doing a simple disciplines for a long period of time. The recipe for failure is
Hi.
neglecting to do those things for a
For
long
a long
period of
period of time. Yeah.
simple errors in judgment. See, I say it to you like this. If you don't brush your teeth today, will you have a rotten mouth?
Over
Will you have
time.
bad breath?
Mm.
Over time. It's not going to affect you right now or today or tomorrow or the next day. It's not doing that over time. So what we're going to be actually talking about right here, let me just jump right into it. We're going to be talking about a system, a budget guide. This is where you can actually learn how to budget for that which you have. See,
Mm.
you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. A good friend of mine told me that, Leighton Morgan, one of my mentors as well, he would say to me, Mark, you don't have to be great to start, just start to be great. And so I say to you guys tonight, this afternoon, start with your budget. You don't have to be great at it, just start. And
Yes.
this budget guide really came out of watching a video with my other mentors. Sounds like I have a lot of mentors, right? Well, I can tell you this, if you have people who have been where you want to get to, the best thing that you can do is copy every single thing that they do, follow every instruction that they give you, and I guarantee you, you'll get there. All right.
You're
So
right.
my mentor, Magdalena Cooper the News, one of Jamaica's finest retirement coaches, right? She's a
Yes.
guru when it comes on to retirement planning. I think you had her on your show recently.
Yes,
But
I did.
but she and I sat down along with Leighton Morgan, and we put together this budget guide based on the 5 principles that were taught in this video that she showed us. It was a video of this Jewish dad that was teaching some principles to his son, and he showed him 5 jars. And in those 5 jars, he said, for every single dollar you have, take 10, let's say it would be, if it's a dollar, take 10 cents and give it to tithing. All right. If you guys know, tithing in Hebrew stands for 1/10. So you're going to take 10 cents and put it aside. You're going to take another 10 cents and put it aside for offering. All right. You're going to take another 10 cents, put it aside for savings. And savings, ladies and gentlemen, stand for an emergency fund. That is it. And an emergency fund is 6 to 12 months of expenses. So a lot of you guys, if you were actually following this budget guide, COVID would not have necessarily bothered you much, because you would have had at least 6 to 12 months of expenses to cushion a lot of the blows of what's happening in the job scene right now. All right. In addition to that, you'd have 20% or 20 cents out of the dollar going towards investments. What's that for? Well, that is when opportunities come up for you to be able to multiply them, right? It is for you to be able to grasp them, get the opportunities, because they are around us. But the reason why we can't really grab them is because we're not prepared for them, right?
Right.
So if you have 20% set aside for investments, you can actually utilize that when it comes. And then 50% or 50 cents of that dollar now goes to your personal spending. This is where you have your bills, your life insurance, your you name it. We're actually going to go through it on the budget guide. All right. So that's it. And that allocates for 100% of your gross income or your remuneration. 10% to tithing, 10% to offering, 10% to saving, 20% to investing, and 50%, guys, to personal spending. Now, I just want to pause right there before we dive into that, just to simply say to you, a lot of the things that we also don't understand, Shernette, is our paycheck.
Right. It took me a
Right?
while to understand it, so I can understand that comment.
Yeah. A lot of us don't even look at our paychecks. But I can go so deep into this to even say to you that every single one of your paychecks, guys, you need to set it aside and save it. Do not destroy it. Because when you reach 65 and you're ready to claim certain benefits, you will need those paychecks. Right?
Yes.
And we can do a totally different series on that in the essence of time. All
Yes.
right.
Yes.
Now let me just break this down for you. Your paycheck is going to be broken up into several parts. Let me go ahead and see if I can make this a little bigger so you guys can see it easily. It's now at 120. Let me change that to 140. You guys should be able to see it with ease. All right, good. So let's start off with your gross remuneration at, let's say, 100,000, right? So you're gonna put 100,000 in there and look at what it's gonna do. This payslip design is designed to take into consideration the Jamaican tax laws. All right. It is a budget guide that will break down your NIS, your education tax, any retirement plans that you may have, your national housing trust. It breaks down everything for you. So let's say you put in 100,000, guys. Pay attention to this. This right here, NIS, Right now, you'll look over here. If you don't know what NIS is, it tells you NIS is 3%, and this is what it is. So we go ahead and we tell you, just in case you don't know what you're paying your taxes for. All right. The next thing we have is your approved superannuation fund or your approved retirement scheme. Now, I want to, before going on to that, let you know that your NIS is a tax deductible and tax deferred deduction. Okay, what does that mean? It means that you're not subjected to taxes right now. You don't pay taxes on that money. All right. So you're going to have to take that out of your gross pay. You
Right.
are not going to be subjected to paying taxes on that. Okay. So that's NIS. That's $3,000, which is going to be automatically calculated for you. Let's say we're actually putting 10% of that 100,000 into an approved retirement scheme. And again, we can have another conversation as to how important it is to be planning for retirement. Because retirement, ladies and gentlemen, the definition of it is death, disability, or old age. One of them can happen to you at any point in time, not the old age. But
Right.
the disability can, the death can, right? And I can tell you right now that based on my heart attack, I could be legally disabled, right? So I'm officially retired actually, because I was able to put in place a financial instrument that protected my family from going bankrupt in the event of a critical illness. That really protected me, paid out a large lump sum of cash so I could do my operation and live in that point in time. But is it going to last forever? That's another conversation. All right. So $10,000 goes into approved retirement scheme. That leaves you with $87,000. That is what we call your chargeable income.
Right.
Now, watch this. Your income tax has a threshold. If you're not above $125,000, you do not pay income tax.
Right.
All right. But I know most of your guests today, Shernette, they're high income earners. So we're gonna just put in there 200,000, right? I know a lot of you are saying high income earners. Yeah, right.
We want to give the different scenarios.
I want to give the different scenarios. So with that being said, you'll see here where your chargeable income is now $60,000. That is what is going to be applied. The percentage is going to be applied to
For the
this.
income tax.
Exactly. All right. Now, with that being said, look at what happens here. You have other deductions such as your National Housing Trust
Education.
and your education tax, which is also automatically calculated for you. Your net pay right there is $159. Now, guys, this is very important for you to understand your pay slip. You can go ahead and plug in your credit union savings at $1,000. That will also take that into consideration. If you have any other miscellaneous, you can drop that in there as well. It will calculate your net pay. Now, I wanted to do this because I found out with all the clients that I've been speaking to, a lot of individuals do not understand how to break down their taxes, right?
Because I
Listen,
just saw a comment in the section that says 100,000 would have been the amount taken home, and it is a little bit more than that. So I guess if we as you said, if we understand it, then we're able to calculate. We're able, because we may be able to play with a little bit more, but we
right,
don't know. So
that's
I'm
correct.
happy. I'm really happy for this section. So Paula, you'll see that you have a little bit more than the 100. She also asked a question. I had thrown away some of my pay slips. Will it affect me? I'm not sure what she's getting at with that question. In terms of proof of her pay slip, if it is that she needs to go back and check. I know I still
Absolutely.
have access to mine, but even if
Because
we have made some mistakes in the past, we can start today in turning the situations around and proper planning. So we still have some
right.
time. Once there's life, there's hope, and we're starting the planning today. Welcome, Zaid, and welcome, Rashida. More persons are on VPN viewers. I cannot do without you on a Sunday, so big up yourself, all 18 of you. Welcome. And guys, if you have any questions, go ahead and post them. We're here for you. And again, it's my guest, Mark Blake. For those of you who are wondering who is this handsome fella here with all this fancy spreadsheet, colleague of mine, very humble. willing to share, and we are here to help you. Remember to go ahead. The YouTube link is it's in the comment section. It's also on my page for your friends and family members who are not on my page, guys. Go ahead and share it on your page now so persons can see. Don't let them miss out on this opportunity. I'm sure they'll appreciate this from you. All right, Mark, go ahead.
All right, great, perfect. All right, so again, this section of the budget guide now is going to break down everything for you. And I just also want to say to your guests that are on, I know we probably have over 100, 200 guests who are watching live. I just want to say to each and every person, this is a global conversation. So if it is that you are outside of Jamaica, these calculations may not apply to you because it's taken into consideration the Jamaican tax laws. However,
We
you know,
can.
I can tailor it for you. It's going to be a locked spreadsheet, so you can't alter things because I don't want people messing with the formulas that I spent thousands of hours putting together. It took me a lot of time to put this together, guys. But as a guest on the call, we're going to give you this for free. It's worth well over $100 US in
Yeah.
value, but I'm going to give it to you for free so you can actually utilize this and put your finances in place. All right. See, if you fail to plan, the old adage says you plan to fail. And we don't want anybody to fail with their finances. We're putting together a tool that can actually help individuals. Now, I know a lot of people have this out there on YouTube and they have a lot of applications, but a lot of times I've found them to be very bulky. I found them to not be as user friendly, and I found that they're not tailored to our specific needs. And so I decided to do that. And also the principles of the five jars, right? Tithing, offering, saving, investing, and personal spending. Now, I think it was Eric Hoffer who said it best. He said, in times of change, the learners will inherit the earth, while the learned will find themselves beautifully prepared for a world that no longer exists. And
Right.
guys, in this situation right now where COVID is changing how we operate and how we do business, people now more than ever need to become more understanding about budgeting, about finances. People need to understand, especially what Mr. Miles Monroe said. He said, poor people usually go after money, right? Rich people pursue things, but wealthy individuals, they pursue ideas. See, ideas are a dime a dozen. Those who actually take them, utilize them, and run with them are worth a fortune. But those who
Mm.
just don't. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? We're actually sharing an idea with you this afternoon that if you take it and implement it, you will be worth a fortune. I've been told a lot of times that when people use this budget guide, it's as though, Shernette, they've gotten a raise. Because every single dollar has a name. Now they can
Mm-hmm.
actually become the masters of their money as
Right.
opposed to their money being the masters of them.
Right. And I have been re-emphasizing that every single, well, a couple of lives I've said, once you have it on a spreadsheet or in a book on paper, you're able to actualize, to see, to envision it. You're able to spread more, you're able to subtract from here, you're able to do adjustments. But if you're not doing that, then you're not able to see how much is it that is coming in. Sometimes we're spending more than we need to spend because we don't know how much we have in our hands and we don't know how much we're working with.
Exactly. See, and that's an absolutely fantastic point. I always tell individuals, if you want to grow something, you must know the numbers. If you
Right.
want something to grow, you must understand where you are in the process. If you want to lose weight, guys, how are you going to lose weight without knowing your goal? Where are you going? A lot of people are afraid to go on the scale and measure themselves to find out,
Exactly.
where they're going to go. But
Right.
how are you going to know how much to take off to get to your
Right.
ideal weight if you don't know what your weight is?
So you should have a before and after. Know how much you're weighing, how much is it that you need to weigh, and you have to go ahead and keep checking to see if you're actually losing.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So hence, this budget guide is the financial blueprint for you either losing weight or gaining weight.
Yes, sir.
Because the more money you have, you just might gain weight, right?
Right.
So all right, so
Definitely.
we put 200,000 in income number one, and I have number one and number two because you may have several different streams of income.
Exactly.
You might have a spouse, or you might just have your rental property that actually brings in income for you. You might have a second job that brings in income for you. So I'm
Right.
gonna just put, let's say we have 100,000 in income one and 100,000 in income two. So you have a total gross income of 200,000. Well, guess what? The budget guide will break down your tithing to 20,000. Now, a lot of people might say $20,000 for tithing, guys. It's 10%.
It's
It's
10%.
10% of whatever it is you make. I once met a guy that said his goal is to tithe $1,000,000.
Wow.
So you know that's 10% of what, right? But the thing is, again, if you start with a little and grow it, when you reach to the lot, you would have been mentally prepared to not look at that as $20,000, but instead look at it as 10%,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the next thing is offering 10%. Now, guys, offering is simply, whatever you want to give your money to. Maybe it's a charitable donation to something. Maybe you just want to set aside money for those individuals who you know are going to come to you and ask you for money, right?
Right.
We have individuals who are always asking us, can you help me here? Can you help me there? Set aside money just for that. Don't put yourself in a bad situation or bad position to help other people out. How about just budget for it? And that way you know that giving actually is the start of receiving. So give off, all right? You have savings. 10% is savings. That's $20,000. You'll see there where your NIS is at $3,750. Why? Because there's a threshold. You cannot go above that. Okay, guys? NHT would be tax-free at $4,000. And if you're doing credit union, you can go ahead and save $1,000 to that. If you're making up your emergency fund again, you might want to put, let's say, 10,000 to that. And an education fund is if you want to further your education. Maybe you want to set aside an educational fund for your children. I don't know, but that's where this would go. All right. And if you look here, you'll see you have a surplus of $1,250 left. Great. You can now take that and put that into your educational fund. All right. Every single month, boom, you're saving $1,250, right, towards an educational fund. You're now at a zero balance. Now, guess what? If you were actually paying in too much to that fund, let's say you were doing $3,000, look what happens.
You're in a deficit.
You're in a deficit, right? So now you know that, hey, I need to allocate more appropriately. All right? I can't do that. So let's just say we go back here and put 1750 here. You're gonna, no, too much. Too much money.
Yeah.
500. All right. So let's just say you go ahead and put 1,250. Now you're at zero. So you allocate. Now the next thing is 20% investments. Now you have $40,000, guys, for that investment. So you already can put aside $10,000 for your approved retirement scheme because the government allows you in Jamaica to do a maximum of 20% of your income to your retirement plans, whether it's be an approved retirement scheme or a superannuation fund. Your employer would usually contribute to that one, okay? But your approved retirement scheme can be 100% you. Ever since I got started working, I started putting aside the maximum amount that I could possibly put aside for my retirement. Okay.
Right.
And then another thing is the reason why we're sharing all of this information to your guest Shernette is because a lot of us weren't told, and you don't know what you don't know. See, a lot of us we've been taught, we've been brought up in a system where we were just taught to do what? Spend money. Where if you take off the S and the P off of the word spend, you get what? End. Guys, your money will always end if you continue to just spend it. So we're actually now going to show you that if you take 20% investment and set aside, you can actually invest. You have $30,000 left. Let's say
Right.
for your insurance, you're doing about 10,000, which is of course not as much as you probably should based on the 200,000 in income, but that's another conversation. All right. Stocks and bonds, you can go ahead and invest in that too, because what? You have $20,000 left. So
Right.
you can go ahead and invest in that into stocks and bonds. Why? Because these are investments that do what? Multiply money. All right. You don't want to continue working hard for money all day of your life. You want money to start working for you as well. So might as well start to invest. Personal spending is next. Guys, 100%, not 100%, 50% of
100%.
your personal spending, $100,000 goes towards personal spending. A lot of times people say to me, Mark, I don't have enough money to do this. I don't have money to do that. I don't have enough money to do that. Well, guess what? You get half of what it is you earn to do whatever you want with it.
Yes.
Personal spending is big time, guys. So your income tax is already calculated, as you can see here. Your education tax, you might say, why is it in personal spending? Well, on the other sheet, when you read what education tax is, you really realize that it's part of your personal spending. Your groceries, this is a big one for a lot of people, right? Some people might say, Mark, I don't have enough money to eat. Well, guess what I do, ladies and gentlemen? I'm going to just pause here for a quick second. Of course, we've been spending a lot of time talking about this, but
Yes.
I don't brush over this. You want to identify your weakest areas when it comes on to money. One of your weakest areas when it comes on to money is allocating for your personal spending. When I just got started with this, guys, I went on what is called the envelope system. The envelope system just taught me how to budget for what I have. You see, when you have money in an account and you are linking it with a card, money has energy. And if you have to dip into your pocket and take out a couple $1,000s, it's much different when it leaves your hand as opposed to when you swipe that card.
Right.
Trust me on this. So if you have groceries in your cart, you know what I used to have to do? I prioritize, right? I'm
Especially
sure
in
some
this
of you do.
time, especially in
I'm
this
sure,
COVID period.
I'm sure some of you do this, right? The more important things go to the front, and the not so important goes to the back. And let me tell you this: when that money is done, I would even tell the cashier, I say, "Hey, listen, I only have $20,000."
I have done that. I have done that. As a matter of fact, I was just laughing just now to myself because sometimes I usually feel a little cute about it. So the next customer that is behind you or waiting to be cashed, you're acting as if it's, who leave those there? But hey, we have to budget because we will,
We have
as quickly as you place those grocery items on the conveyor belt, your money is, you're wondering what is it. I actually had a live where I was showing them the picture with the same amount of money, but over time the grocery has actually reduced. So you had a packed trolley for the same $10,000. After 5 years, half those items, and now about 3 items in the same cart, the same size for the same $10,000 because of inflation. So we have to budget.
yes, absolutely. So what I've found is that the energy that money carries, when you have to part with it physically in cash, you will be more disciplined to stay into your budget if you have cash versus swiping a card. So I did the envelope system. I would take my pay and I split it up in different envelopes. My wife and I used to do this all the time. We split it up in different envelopes. And when that money is done, it's done.
It's done.
There's no taking out a card and swiping anything. A matter of fact, if you have credit card debt, that's a totally different conversation. But we can show you how to work through that as well and start to snowball that and get rid of credit card debt and start to actually have a vasectomy where you cut those cards up. All right.
That
You're
was
gonna
my
actually
discussion last week about the credit card. I got rid of one and I'm
yes.
considering the second one. But if it is that for now you are able to track the cycle and to avoid paying the interest rate, that's fine because you have people who have never paid an interest on their credit card. So there are
Right.
ways to do that, but if you can't discipline yourself, you need to get rid of the card.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, major banks offer credit cards as, a way for them for people to be able to afford things. And I can tell you this, there's absolutely nothing wrong with having a credit card unless you have exactly what you just said, discipline.
Mhm. Right.
Now, might I ask you, if you can't budget the money that you have, how are you going to be disciplined with the money you don't have?
Preach, preacher.
No, no, that's just one thing I want us to think about. There's nothing wrong with having a credit card, but might I add that credit cards weren't designed for personal living. It was designed for businesses. It was designed for businesses to be able to have access to capital so they can do what they need to do so that when
Okay.
their businesses are ready to or profit, it can revolve,
Yes.
right? It wasn't necessarily designed for how we use it. But again, lack of knowledge, people will perish. So let's dive right back into this. The budget guide. So you're going to go to groceries, and let's say you put in 30,000, because I see some people are pricing, and I have to wonder how do they do that? I'm talking about cards overloading. I think it's 100,000 odd. Anyway, so your loans you might have to allocate for that as well. Some of us might have about 20 something $1,000 worth of loans. You have your rent and thing. Maybe your rent could be 50,000 maybe. Refurbishing account is very important, and I can tell you this, guys. When you're ready to pass your inheritance on to the next generation, you will want to have real estate. Real estate, guys. Again, another conversation. We don't have time to dive into that, but real estate is one
And
of
we
the
know.
best ways to pass on wealth. All right, it's one of the best ways to pass on wealth. So
Yes.
if you can actually pass that wealth on, you want to make sure you're leaving a property in good condition, guys. How are you going to leave a property for someone where they're now going to have to come out of their pockets to spend crazy money to fix it up? Come
Right.
on,
Right.
change that thinking. Sometimes I hear some people say, well, I work for my own, they have to work for their own. No, guys, we have to stop that process
Right.
because we must understand that in order for the next generation to grow, we must pass the baton. We can't keep dropping it and saying, we're playing catch. I'm going to drop it. You need to catch it and start running again. No. That's why a lot of other cultures are way ahead of Africans because they have had these disciplines, they've had this information about finances, and they've had the culture of helping generations to come. And again, another conversation because we've been trained totally differently because of
Right.
our history. And let's not get it.
We've been
But
brought up
refurbishing
differently
a
too. Can one question mark?
okay.
Can the we're speaking of real estate planning, generational wealth. Can this refurbishing account be used also for, let's say, the owner of the property or two persons owning the property and one pass on? Can this money also incorporate what is used for stamp duty, transfer tax, lawyer fees, or you would just leave the insurance for that?
Well, that's a great question, Shernette. But what I would suggest to you is to use a different vehicle for that because
Right.
this is money that needs to be readily and
Mhm.
liquidly available for you.
So the insurance.
So the insurance would be your best bet for that to control and take care of your estate duties, your stamp duties, your taxes, all things of that nature. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to be on your live again if you choose to have that discussion on estate planning because retirement and estate planning is my specialty. That's my baby right there.
I'm
So
accepting the invitation.
so your sum total, guys, right here would be 99,000. Notice that your personal spending is 100,000, so you don't have a lot to play around with. Look, you only have a surplus of $498. You don't have a lot to play around with. All right. So here is something I also want to suggest to individuals. You have to live within your means, guys. Some people might say, but Mark, I only make this amount
Right.
and XYZ. Again, your personal growth and development will never surpass the profits and wealth that you have. If you want more, you must become more. You cannot want more and not grow to become more and grow to have more. You must become more knowledgeable. You must become more skillful. You must be able to, instead of saying, what can the job do for me, but instead understand, what can I do for the job? So that the job would actually see me as more valuable to the marketplace. They don't only pay you 100,000 because the CEO gets paid 10, 20, 30 times that. Why? Because of the value he brings to the organization. So let's level up, guys. Sometimes we might say, I'm not doing more than I can handle. It's above my pay grade. I'm leaving at 5 o'clock sharp. Put in more so you can get more. But not necessarily more time, but more knowledge and more skill. All right. So with that being said, the next thing is utilities. Digicel, Flow, JPS, NWC, miscellaneous. You can drop your bills in there. Motor vehicle expenses, gas, toll, tires, repairs, washing, insurance. Fitness and registration, guys, is something you can actually save for. You don't have to wait until the 6 months are here to find that big lump sum, or that year to find that big lump sum. Start setting it aside. Guys, your tires, they wear, all right? Your tires are not just going to all of a sudden boof and be gone. Start to save for those tire repairs or those tire damages that you are going to incur. All right, start putting that aside. Servicing, you can't keep driving the wheels off the car. You must be setting aside funds in order to service the car. You can do that
Tell
every
me
single
about
month.
it.
Just budget for it. And then you have accounting services, extraordinary expenses, and of course, again, it will tell you at the end of the day if you have a surplus or a deficit. Now, guys, I can tell you this. If it is that there's anything that can make a difference in your life, it's actually saving. It's actually being able to invest. It's actually being able to start giving as opposed to trying to just receive, receive, receive. All right. One of the things I want to leave with you, in the essence of time, is something I remember from a quote, and it says something like, "People don't typically fail in life because of a lie that was told to them.
Right.
People typically fail in life because of a truth that was told to them that they simply chose not to believe." And this afternoon, we have told you the truth tonight. I've shared my budget guide with you.
Right.
I will pass it out to you if you decide. Put a one-on-one in the chat if you're interested in getting it. Contact Shernette, contact me. My information should be there just the same. And we'll pass this on to you. Utilize it in your family. And I say family not loosely because wealth really starts with the first two letters. And the first two letters
Is we.
is we. Right? That's
So,
collective. And
yes.
as a collective body, that's how we'll be able to grow wealth. So with that being said, Shernette, I want to thank you for welcoming me. I want to thank you for inviting me. I want to thank all your guests for being on the call and staying with us as we go through budgeting,
Yes.
a one-on-one guide to how it is that you can actually start to allocate your funds, give every single dollar a name so that you can actually feel as though you've gotten a raise. It's been my plum-pleasing pleasure to share it with you, and God bless you guys. Look forward to talking with you again. And Shernette, I'll turn it back over to you.
Hold on, Mark. I may have some questions for you. I want to go ahead and big up Paula, as usual, who is a regular viewer. Bishop Russell, regular viewer. I also want to big up Dennis Edwards, Dale Brown, which is DB, Survivor Royal, Ray Ral, Brooklyn Jam,
Sounds
Rhonda
like a
Banton, regular, big up yourself. Thank you for the love. Lydia, of course, who is a client of mine. Welcome, Lydia. And Nashali Mundel, which is, she's in the Cayman Islands, Jamaicans living abroad. So they're finding this information very informative. And guys, as usual, I want to big up my VPN viewers. You guys are always here on a Sunday, and I appreciate you taking the time to be here. As Mark said before, the information is available to you, and I had said before in the live, once you're interested, you go ahead and put information needed or need info, interested, we will get you started on. And this is what I've been talking about, the spreadsheet. If you don't have a plan, you're going to fail. So you plan to fail, or you're going to plan. So this is a way of putting it together where you can see everything that you're earning from all streams of income, the taxes, your investment, your insurance, your surplus, your deficit, where we are able to adjust so we can have some surplus. Now, surplus we're working for, sir. And of course, those of you, the video, the live is available on my page after this presentation. It's also available on the YouTube channel. Go ahead, like and subscribe, guys. And you want to hit on the notification bell where whenever it is that I'm online, you'll be notified. Go ahead and do all of that. And of course, I want to thank you once again. We did go over the 15 minutes because when I have a guest, I give them enough time to share. And of course, Paula was asking if her insurance can do that, depending on the insurance that you have. And I'm assuming you're speaking of transfer duty and the stamp duty and transfer tax. And if that's what you're referring to, we would have to look at what you have because we're not sure of what you have. We don't want to answer the questions yes or no. And you may not have that in your portfolio. And if you don't, and whatever it is that you're lacking, we can add that. Look at your portfolio and adjust accordingly. Again, Mark, appreciate your presence, appreciate your knowledge, and of course, Matilisa, your spreadsheet better than mine. I love the perspective. Once I saw it, I was like, wow, no, I have to talk to Mark. So I'm happy that you took the time to share with my viewers. And of course, we are going to be putting things into place because from time to time, I come on and check with them how them doing. Now I'm going to start holding people accountable who are coming on the live. I'm going to be personally contacting them. So only for persons who are really not interested and probably have it together and want to just add some information to what they have, but I am going to be holding you accountable because, guys, information given, yes, it is important, but if you're not actualizing, like we are saying at Jamaica, action, not a bag of mouth. If we're not putting them into practice, then it is not going to come fruitful for you. And of course, again, appreciate the love, appreciate the like. Hashtag once you're on the live, guys, hashtag replay. And I want to see the videos on your timeline being shared to your friends and family. In this time of COVID, it's about sharing, not just food. It is sharing, not just in terms of protecting ourselves, in terms of what we're exposed to. And make sure, guys, that you're observing the protocols, washing the hands, sanitizing. And not just that, boost the immune system because we want you guys to live longer where you can enjoy some retirement fund after we have done this planning in the spreadsheet. Mark, big up yourself, and I'll see you on Thursday on your
All
Zoom
right.
where we'll be talking about generational wealth. Guys, the handles are in the comment section, and Mark is also available to assist us in this transition process because we are going to be actually this what we speak about. The Lord wants us to prosper and to have an expected end. We have to put things into practice. Remember the men who were given the talent, the one who buried it, the one who went and expand on it. We have it in our hands now to expound and to expand on it and to create wealth. So let's do that. Walk good, Jamaicans. Love you all. Remember, keep safe, keep focused, and stay tuned for next Sunday at 4 p.m. We'll be here again live on Facebook and YouTube. Remember to share with your friends and your family. Generational wealth, we say.